Peter B. Parker. I get Peter B. Parker why he made a trip from the Spider-Verse, but why everyone else? And if you're just going to have Peter B. Parker from the other dimension and Miles be the main focus, and it seems like those are the only two that you tried to develop in this movie, but forgot to develop the other ones and gave everyone else a character arc, which they don't. They're just there to be funny and look cool and kick ass. Be the version that Miles can't be for a hero. Well, Peter B. Parker from the other dimension is the opposite of Miles. Well, he is a hero, a competent hero. He's lacking the energy of feeling alive and wanting to just live life to the fullest like he did when he was young, like Miles has. But Miles is lacking another thing. He's lacking a father figure. And the closest one that he got, well, his real father's not really there for him at all. And it feels like his father's trying to get rid of him, just having him grow up too quick. And his uncle is the closest thing he had to a father until Peter B. Parker came, which helped him heal that relationship with his real father after his father gave them those inspiring words why he's so hard on him, because he knows he's going to do something great one day, and he sees a spark in him. That's something special. That's when he's ready to be Spider-Man. And that's when he gets spray paints one of Spider-Man's old suits from his lair, and gets a hold of new web shoot from Aunt May from his dimension, and so yeah. And it ends up with him narrating and how he's awesome while he's swinging the world, and everyone's cheering for him and saying, "Yo, Spider-Man!" So blah blah blah, while hip-hop music is playing. And that's the Spider-Verse. And then he reunites with Gwen, Spider-Gwen, who is Gwen Stacy, who is the girl he has a crush on, who fell in love with him, and he has been in love with her since he first met her in school, on the first day of school, after he got transferred from his other school, against his will. True love! Spider-Man! Love is many different of cliches of kinds of love, and Spider-Man man's blah blah blah. I don't care. This is why I gave it a 5 out of 5. There's too much in this. I don't know what people were thinking, and I don't know why this got an Oscar for being like the best animated picture of the year, and Wreck-It Ralph didn't. Wreck-It Ralph 2 or any animated picture outside of Spider-Verse, because this was the worst picture I saw on 2018 for an animated movie that came out that year in the theaters. I mean, yeah, it has a design, an animation design unlike no other. It looks like a fine perfected of bringing a comic book animation design to life for the first time to the big screen, or even count the small screen. The small screens haven't done that successfully even in the past, even though they tried. This is the first time in history is actually success of getting their comic book movement, of having them move like they would in a comic book. Because I think that's the only thing That being said, I can see why they think that because of the way the styles of animation and how the characters move and look and act and how they can move their flexible joints and move, they can be quick but steady, and quick and steady at the same time, like some sort of hybrid between smooth animation and stop motion. It is like a comic book. But outside of capturing a look of a comic book, I don't think this is the most comic book accurate Spider-Man movie. I think Far From Home and Spider-Man Homecoming are the most far accurate Spider-Man movie because it gives our main protagonist, besides of his powers now, he doesn't know how to use his powers. He gives him obstacles to overcome and flaws to overcome. Now, in the sequel, he didn't overcome any of those flaws, but there were obstacles he had because his flaw and his obstacles that he didn't want to be Spider-Man in Homecoming, but he just had to do it because his love of his life, all of his friends were in danger. He gave Stark Tech to a villain that's behind all of these catastrophes. Now, and the whole thing, and I noticed that people don't like Tom Holland's movies for some reason. I don't know why. Because he thinks he says he looks up to Tony Stark. Well, okay, fair. He looks up to Tony Stark, but he doesn't look at the billionaire Tony Stark. He looks at his Tony Stark humanity, what he's done as Iron Man, his career as Iron Man. He doesn't care about the Tony Stark that rips people off, makes irresponsible bank gestures or drinks, or is just irresponsible and selfish. It was a big ego. He reminds the Tony Stark that's underneath all of that stuff. The narcissism, the irresponsible thing, the second guessing himself. The hero part of Tony Stark. And he sees Tony Stark as a father figure because he is lacking a father figure to give him some guidance. Like Uncle Ben used to give him. That's why he probably turned down the offer and Homecoming because, well, he realized Uncle Ben and Tony are, even though they have some in common, they're mostly different people, and he realized who he wants, the team he wants to, who he really wants to be with is, and who he really admires when you gotta think about it, it takes a while to think about, is Uncle Ben, Peter's real father figure. And yeah, I guess Tony Stark kind of fulfilled that empty void, and then Mysterio kind of did. But he turned out to be a fake and was just using him. But I feel like no one has filled that role of a father figure more to, well, no one has filled a role to being a mentor in Tom Holland's continuity. The two Spider-Man films, called Far From Home and Homecoming, has the two mentors he has is Quentin Beck, and which ended up being a villain and not really like Tony at all. And he doesn't even want to be like Tony. And Happy gives him the answer that he needs to hear. Tony wasn't like Tony. Wasn't like anything like his legacy after he sacrificed his life. Because that Tony that everyone's praising is nothing like the Tony that Happy was best friends with. There were pieces here and there, but Tony never really knew what the right thing was. This like Peter didn't know the right thing was, and that's something that they both have in common. Like, most of them will second guess themselves. I feel like, Peter will second guess himself, but not to extreme or unhealthy level as Tony did. And the same goes for he doesn't always know what the right thing is, but not to the extreme as Tony is. So, when he said that Tony wanted to be better, and he wanted to be like Tony because of how great of a hero he is. So, I don't see what's the whole. I mean, it sounds like people are missing the point of Homecoming and Far From Home, and the real father figure that took Uncle Ben's place wasn't Tony or Quentin back. It was Happy. Think about it. He tries to tell the kid to stay, to not do anything crazy, and just let the adults handle the real dangerous stuff. And he starts blocking Peter's calls because Peter needs to show some discipline and some because he doesn't have any restraints. But then when it's serious, he thinks this is going to be like the whole boy who cried wolf scenario when it really is an emergency at the third act. So yeah. Of course, Happy annoys this and just hangs up and realizes, oh fuck, this is him wanting to be an Avenger again. Oh fuck this shit. He's probably thinking himself, but he just hangs up because okay, and then he puts a stop to a Vulture after realizing that he's got to grow up a little and stop clinging to those that can't help him when they're not there. So when he starts to cheer himself on as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker to lift the solid concrete over his head, it actually it makes sense when you really think about it, and beautifully earned. And paced well. And I just think Into Spider-Verse, this needs to show restraints on its pacing and not have too many characters for the sequel. I feel like Spider-Verse franchise is a franchise that has potential, but it doesn't know where its strengths are and where the weaknesses are. It's that kind of film. So that's why I give it a 5 out of 10 for absolutely mediocre, as in it's average. It's not good, it's not great, just average. And a little, mostly forgettable, because you don't remember all the problems the film has. So yeah, it's very forgettable because you don't realize or don't remember all the film has because it's throwing so much at you. It's like getting injected with too much, I don't know. It's like getting injected with injecting your brain with 2 bottles of rum and you're suffering the weirdest hangover and while smoking dope, as in pot probably. I never done these things in that order, those things in that order, but I do like rum, I like pot, and so, but I'd never taken 2 bottles of rum and then smoked pot and suffered a high. Like, I'm just using that as an example because that's the best example because I don't want to drag this for you in too longer than I have. So, Spider-Verse, and that's why I fucking hate myself for liking this film and for giving it a 10 out of 10 and calling it average because I wish I could hate on this. I wish I could love this film, but it's too easy to hate on something like this, and it doesn't feel earned. And it's not too easy to love something like this, too hard to love something like this, and it doesn't feel earned. it doesn't feel like this reputation has gone of it being the best Spider-Man film from these Sam Raimi fans of the first two and want to see more of it. I don't think it's gone in that early. I don't think that. I think they're drunk when they thought that. Think that because I don't know. What is it about this that deserves a franchise? I don't see it. I don't see. This doesn't feel like movie magic. It feels like a quick breeze in the wind. It just doesn't feel. When I wanted a Spider-Man animated film, I didn't meant when I said the universe give me an animated Spider-Man film. I didn't meant like this. I meant something more on the level and creativity that Homecoming or Far From Home it gave me. This is just the best elements of the past Spider-Man films. And the worst elements of the past Spider-Man films. Up to Homecoming. That started in 2002 Spider-Man. And everything in between. For theatrical Spider-Man movies only. Far From Home doesn't count because that came out after this movie, okay? So we're not counting that. And I don't know why it's just like Endgame. Endgame took the best elements of the MCU stories of what makes them work, but they didn't decide, no, we can't just have it be, we just can't add just the strengths from the past MCU films. We also gotta add the weaknesses of the past MCU films. Yes! And this film does the same thing, except in animated form. More or less. So yeah, I'm giving Spider-Verse a 5 out of 10, and that's my review. I'm sorry, I got my brain hurts. So because I feel like I plucked a porcupine needle out of my brain after talking about this, because I don't know what people see in this film. I want to know what they see in this film. I want to love this film like those assholes on the internet that's so smug to admit when they're so smug and don't want to admit when they're wrong. I wish I was one of those people, but I'm not. I'm not Chris Tucker. I'm not Doug Walker. Not any of those filmmakers. I'm not in high top film. I'm not an asshole who believes everything was perfect from his childhood and who never ever faced the truth, cold hard truths of reality, and that sometimes you just have to wake up and smell the roses and realize not everything in your childhood that you liked was actually good, or a good adaptation, or even a good Spider-Man movie. Those first series, like those first two Spider-Man movies, I'm telling you, they were terrible. I thought. But they were at least consistent in its tone, the first two. What is this consistent about? What is this movie about? I mean, it's called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but the one who goes into the Spider-Verse is Peter B. Parker, who gets caught in the craziness. Not Miles. So the title ain't lied to you about that. So why is it called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Well, I guess they knew how cool it sounded. That's my guess. Yeah, that's my guess. Fuck! Oh, this. The reason why I dragged this so long because I want to love this film. I also want to hate as much as I want to hate this film, but I'm not. I'm somewhere in the middle. That's why I give it a 5 out of 10. And that's why I kept on making so many reviews on this film, because I don't know if I made it clear the first few times, but I think I made it clear this time to myself. So that's why I'm going to give this a title besides Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse Jake reviews. Okay? And it's obviously going to be a several-part series. A 5 out of 10 Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse guest from 2018. And unfortunately, there's going to be a sequel coming up in the year 2022. There's already a trailer. It looks cool. But why would you wait? Why would you wait? Why would you release a trailer in 2019 if it's going to come out in 2022? It just doesn't make any sense. No, they released that trailer in 2018, and the year it came out, and apparently they're still working on it, but they have a full trailer, official trailer. It's a real thing. It's called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2, and I just gotta say the trailers. I don't think they're going to learn from their past mistake, or even going to right the wrongs of the past and knows where their strengths are and not focus on the weakness as well as the strengths. They're just going to do the same shit over again, not know where the strengths is or their weaknesses, and not focusing on the weaknesses and just focus on the strengths of the film, while probably creating more new weaknesses in the film. But that's why they make sequels, so you can improve on the past. Not regret the past, like this upcoming sequel of Spider-Verse probably going to do. Especially when the movie is not that great.